What is up, cool kids? My name's Gavin, I'm that cool trainer, and today we're doing another team builder, this time for OU singles. So a little bit different than normally. Normally we do VGC stuff. But this time, as you can see, we're running a Sun team, a double Sun team with Torkoal and Ninetales, with Venusaur as our sweeper. So for our Torkoal, we want Torkoal to be around as long as possible, so we make it as bulky as possible. So we give it full HP, full attack, or full defense, with 4 special defense, with a special defense up nature, with an assault vest. With clear smog to prevent setup sweeping, earth power for coverage, lava plume for stab and burns, and rapid spin for hazard removal. Pretty good Pokemon. It will live things pretty well, but because its defense is so high, you can manage to bring that down to like 160 investment. And because I think what does that get to with 96 SPDF with an assault vest? That gets from 220 to that's easy math. So that gets to 330. So if you want to make it as bulky as possible, as overall bulky as possible, you can get to about that. That gets you about equal, maybe a little bit less. Yeah, that'll get you roughly equal in defense and special defense. Super tanky. Will live hits a lot better than you think it will, especially special hits. Or if you wanted it full special defense, you could do, max SP, max special defense. Still pretty tanky physically, but with an assault vest, that's really big, really good special defense. But I think I do want to go down to about that. Yeah, maybe a little bit less. Whatever I had before. Whatever gets you to 230, I think is what I want. 230 SPDF. Okay, I guess I can't be 230. So we'll do that. Really bulky, which is really nice. Normally, sometimes you see Torkoal as a rocker, but I like having it just as one of my sunsetters and a rapid spinner. Clear Smog is a lot more useful than rocks, I think, because I have rocks on Lando. That is my only form of hazards, though, and if I had to change something, I would probably swap out Lando for something else, or maybe Goodra for something else. Like, I would say probably Goodra for maybe... You know what? I think I'm going to do this. Goodra for Ferrothorn. And then, because this team lacks physical power, do you get growth? No, you don't. Sad. But for an item, I would say probably lefties. Actually, because who has lefties? You have lefties. So we'll give you Rocky Helmet. Rocky Helmet, Iron Barbs. And then, so I'm probably going to make this more of a physical one, but I'm probably going to give it spikes too. So spikes, Gyro Ball, Power Whip, and not Protect, because there's not really a point. What else do you get for coverage? For physical, Iron Head? No, we have Gyro Ball. We could give Thunder, interesting. Swords Dance, also interesting. Poison Jab, I think I like that. We'll go for bulky offense with max HP, max attack, 4 SPDF, and we'll go for a Brave Nature. Where are you? There we go. Anyway, that's pretty much what Torkoal does. Sorry, that was just me thinking. I should have done that beforehand, but it's whatever. Torkoal is really good. Now I'm told to say about Torkoal. Then we have Ninetales. Ninetales normally holds a different item, usually like a Life Orb or something, but I like it having Heat Rock so that it prolongs the Venusaur sweep, because without the Sun, Venusaur doesn't sweep. It's just not fast enough. So I run Flamethrower, Willow, Dark Pulse. Dark Pulse you can switch for HP Ice. But I found like the flinch potential is pretty nice. And we have... Actually, I think like I said, you can switch for HP Ice, because right now the only Ice-type move we have is we have HP Ice on Venusaur. You could switch... I'm going to switch that for Toxic, because for some reason I had a Toxic before, but Showdown likes to change my stats on me. But yeah, you can run HP Ice or Dark Pulse on your Ninetales. And you can swap out either energy... I'm going to switch Solar Beam for this as well. Because I thought about that last time. Like, why am I running Energy Ball. It's more consistent, but when it has the Heat Rock, there's no point in running Energy Ball. But max special attack, max speed, timid nature, hits pretty hard with the flamethrower in the sun. Willow is nice to have on it. Dark Pulse, like I said, you can switch for HP Ice just for coverage. Solar Beam does pretty good damage, and like I said, you don't have to charge it in the sun. Yeah, so that's Ninetales. Pretty, especially a little bit tanky. It won't take too many hits, but it'll survive a couple. So then we have Ferrothorn. I had Goodra here because I liked having some special bulk, but like I said, we already have Mantine, and which is one of the bulkiest special Pokemon that there is. So I swapped it out for the Ferrothorn so that we can have some more, some more physical power, because Lando was our only physical attacker, and that's kind of a problem. We have Spikes, Gyro Ball, Power Whip, and Poison Jab. I've seen Banded Ferrothorn do actually pretty well. I'm not willing to do that quite yet, because I don't like having too many. Actually, that'd be my only choice mon. So you can definitely do that and throw something else on. You can throw Knockoff on here instead of Spikes if you want to do that. Pretty good set. I like this. Gyro Ball does a pretty good damage with being base 20 min speed. Yeah, it does a pretty large amount of damage. Power Whip, also base 120, really good damage. Poison Jab for coverage on the Tapus, because Ferrothorn hard walls every Tapu. It resists the stab it resists both stab on all of them, except for Bulu? No, it definitely resists Bulu. Yeah, it resists both stab for all Tapus. So really good Tapu killer. Gyro Ball does big damage on Lele's and Coco's. Power Whip hits Finny really hard, and Poison Jab hits Bulu really hard. So this is a really good Tapu counter if you have problems with the Tapus. Then we have Lando. I had it max attack, max speed for a while, but I decided to make it a little more bulky because it is our rocker. You can run it special. You can run it mixed. You can switch Knockoff for HP Ice. I think that's pretty useful because other Landos are pretty common, as well as Garchomps. But other Landos usually have HP Ice. You will live, for the most part, an HP Ice from another Landorus, unless it's like full special, which most of the time you don't really see. But I really like the utility of Knockoff. U-turn is always nice because we're not running We're not running it all that fast. So slow U-turn is always really nice. Stealth Rock, pretty obvious. Earthquake, obvious. Intimidate, always nice to have. If you need to sack something, you can just switch it in, get the attack drop, and then sack it off for whatever to come in. It's also really nice if you need to sack it to get Venusaur in the sun, so it can lower the attack of something, force that thing to switch out, so you can set up with Venusaur and then proceed to sweep. Yeah, Lando, really great mon, base 145 attack. Not much else to say about Lando. Everybody knows how good Lando is. So then we have Mantine. Mantine got such a huge buff in this gen. I think it got like 10 points to its HP and a couple points to its special defense, which is incredible. Like, look at that special defense. Like 416 is wild. But we run Defog, Air Slash, Roost, and Toxic. You can run Scald, but with the sun being up for most of the match, it just doesn't really do much damage. And you already have Toxic, which I think is better. And you have Willow on Ninetales to get some burns, and you have Lava Plume on Torkoal, which is going to burn 30% of the time too. So I think overall Air Slash is nice because it is reasonably fast. It's faster than a lot of other walls. So you can potentially flinch them out. You can Toxic flinch them. Pretty nice. Roost. It also got Roost this gen too, which is a huge difference maker in how long it lives. So Mantine, really good mon. I run the Wackenberry on it because it has the damage from super effective electric type attacks, which Mantine obviously has a problem with, being water flying. Yeah, really good mon. It'll live a lot, especially with that Wackenberry. So then we have Venusaur. the probably the all-star of this team. What you can do is you can play with its investment here to make it outspeed only certain things. Right now I'm just running max speed, modest nature, but you can play with the IVs to make it outspeed basically anything that's Scarf. Like I think. Oh, let me look what Garchomp gets to when it's Scarf. Garchomp gets to. I don't have a set with Garchomp on it. Okay, so Garchomp's speed at max speed Jolly is 169. Well, hold on, that's a level 50. So level 100, not 1,000. Level 100 gets to 333 speed, so times 1.5. So it gets to 499.5 speed, but it rounds down, because that's just how Pokemon works. Pokemon rounds down for stats. So it gets to 499. So we'll go back to that team, which is down here. So you can basically make it so if you make this timid instead, you can lower this only to 250. Or not your EVs. Not your IVs. You want to lower your EVs. So you basically just need to lower it to that. With that amount of EVs, you will outspeed everything base 102 and higher Choice Scarf. Or 102 and lower Choice Scarf. And then you can run the rest in HP, which makes you reasonably bulky. What I'm probably going to do is do 100 in HP and put the rest in there. Because I think that'll let you outspeed Nihilego's Choice Scarf. You're not going to be outspeeding Pheromosas, you're not going to be outspeeding Koko-s. You're not really worried about Koko anyway, but the Pheromosa can be a bit of a problem. Especially because there's not a whole lot on this team to beat Pheromosa. Torkoal does pretty well against Pheromosa. Because in the sun, the Lava Plume does kill, and I think it lives any one hit from Pheromosa, even the high jump kick unless it's banded. But nothing on the team can switch into Pheromosa, except for maybe Landorus to get the Intimidate off. But it then gets the Beast Boost, so this team does have a problem with Pheromosa. So let's look at what Pheromosa's speed is. Let's see, Pheromosa level 100. Speed gets to 401 when it's not up nature. So it gets to 441 when it's a boosted nature. But a lot of people don't run max speed Pheromosa, so they get the Beast Boost in something other than speed. So I think you're usually pretty safe running it just to outspeed Choice Scarf Nihilego. So yeah, I think you're pretty safe to do that. But it is definitely your preference. If you want a little bit more bulk, you can do this. This is probably what I'm going to stick with. But anyway, back to the rest of the set. We have Growth, because in the sun, it boosts your attack and special attack by 2. You need to watch out for foul plays, though, because foul play does do a good amount of damage. It does about 70% when you're at +2, even with being timid or modest with 0 IVs. Still does about 70%. We have Giga Drain. You can choose to run Solar Beam because the sun's going to be up regardless, just for extra power. But I like having Giga Drain to heal off the Life Orb damage and any chip damage that might happen. Sludge Bomb is your stab of choice. And then you can run HP Fire to get the boost from the sun. But I like HP Ice because, like I said, we have no ice coverage here. So you can so if you switch this to HP Ice, I'll just look for HP Ice. And then you can definitely switch this to Fire, but between these two, Fire's pretty well covered. And Ninetales outspeeds Garchomps anyway, unless they are Scarfed. So if you run into Scarf Chomp, that is kind of a problem. But Lando can switch in on Scarf Chomp pretty freely on almost any variant of Scarf Chomp. And then you can just knock it off if it stays in, which it probably won't, but I'm not too afraid of Scarf Chomp, to be honest. because +2 Giga Drain does really big damage, and we have Hidden Power Ice on it anyway. So, like I said, this will outspeed Scarf Chomp. I like this team a lot. It's really dependent on your control of the weather, which is why I brought 2 Sunsetters instead of just 1. It is preferred to sweep under Ninetales' Sun because you have the Heat Rock, but Torkoal is, it's there as well. Pretty much just a fake that, well, not really fake anything, but between these two, you pretty much guarantee that you have the Sun up for the majority of the game. So I like this team a lot. I think it does really well. The Sun gets rid of the water weakness on 3 of these mons. Mantine can switch into water types because it has the water absorb. These 2 can switch into water types, so not really that much of a problem, even though half our team is weak to water. Because we have the Sun up and we have 3 Pokemon that don't mind water. But yeah, I really don't see too many glaring problems. Fire types do give us a little bit of a problem, despite 3 of our team resisting it. Just because the Sun's up, so it does extra damage. 2 of our Pokemon are now weak to fire. That wasn't a problem when this was a Goodra, so you can switch into Goodra. But I do like this team quite a lot, and keep an eye out for the tester for this. In about like an hour or so, it'll probably go up. But thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video as much as I did, please like and or subscribe. Follow me on Twitter and Twitch @ThatCoolTrainer. And until next time, smile later.